slide.
Do you know where the afters is?
This is it. We're back in. Right. Well, Jess Bays, welcome to the afters.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
Yeah, good. Happy,
Good.
healthy. You know, cold because it's winter time, but I'm happy.
I know you guys have been saying it's cold. I think it's just because I'm northern. I'm not
It
really
is,
feeling it that
bro.
much. A little bit.
This is summer for you.
This is
I usually wear shorts at home in December.
psycho.
It's not a problem.
Psycho.
But anyway, Jess, obviously we know who you are. But for those at home who don't, who the fuck are you?
I'm Jess Bays. I'm a DJ, producer, and radio broadcaster and mental health ambassador.
Oh, amazing. Nice and snappy.
Yeah, I'm
And,
not trained at this.
Yeah, you've done this before. And we obviously know we know you've just got back from a tour in America, right?
I have. I've just gone across the pond and done my first North America and Canada tour, which was bloody epic.
Yeah, and you still feeling a bit tired, or you?
Oh, jet lag is kicking my ass, mate. Nobody told me about that.
Oh, it's
They
your
just
first time,
yeah,
isn't
they
it?
said
Yeah.
go touring, and now I'm still like, my brain is in New York, but my body is here.
Yeah, I saw some of your posts when you just got back into which airport do you fly into?
I flew into Heathrow,
Yeah,
and I was like, well, you'd fly through the different time zones, isn't it? It's just, I can't, and I'm about to go to Australia again in 2 weeks, so I'm just going to adjust back to the UK, then they're going to send me forward in time to Australia.
Well, mate, that's what you fucking signed up for.
Yeah, mate.
You're a touring DJ now.
Exactly. I've been doing it 10 years now, so I feel like it was the right time to sort of take on new territory.
You know what? I didn't realise that because I remember seeing your post about a month ago when you said this is the 10th. Sorry, you've been to ADE so many. Was it 10 years?
Yeah,
in a row?
10.
And it's
I
the
missed
first
it this
year
year.
you've missed.
It's because literally a week after ADE, I was going to the States, and I just,
Right.
you know, if anyone's attended ADE Amsterdam, you know it's 4 days of no sleep, bouncing around 100 different parties, and I did not need that before tackling America for 4 weeks.
Completely.
So it was hard. Everybody got muted. Instagram app got deleted because
Yeah.
ADE is one of the best events of the whole year. So that was a tough decision to not do that. But look what I gained in the forefront of it.
Incredible. But
Yeah.
that was the first time I'd been to ADE, probably in, well, the time before that was before COVID. But that's the first time I've been to ADE and done it sober, as did Sean. We spoke about it in one of the first
I bet it was so much better, wasn't it? Not tired and stuff.
It was different. We did a lot. We did just different shit, right?
It was the best time I've ever had in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
It was great.
Good.
I was, I really enjoyed it. I think I've mentioned this in every podcast now. I was in bed at 9 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, see, that's the way forward.
So we obviously had.
Because then you're up at 9 a.m.
Yeah, well, 5 a.m.
5 a.m. I texted him and I go, are you coming to meet me for breakfast? He went, where are you? I'm like, Soho House. He was like, of course you are. Every morning in the gym for
Still.
opening. Like, when the fuck do you ever think we'd be at Soho House at 6 in the morning in Amsterdam?
No one else
every
was.
single day. No fucker was.
You'd normally still be there from the night
Yeah,
before.
Yeah,
Not freshen up.
trying to get in. Give me a pint.
Yeah. So just on that, 10 years.
Yeah, man.
How did it start?
So I was tour manager for Sam Divine from Defected. I'd never really knew that I wanted to do music as in be the performer. I knew I liked music enough to want to be in the industry, but I always kind of wanted to do behind the scenes because I feel like it's probably the best bit of advice I can give anyone, and it's the most common thing I get asked is how to get in. And I think starting behind the scenes gives you a much better understanding of things like the lighting crew, the runners, promotions, everything that goes into an event that isn't just getting there as a DJ. Like there's so many other jobs and stuff that goes into one night that creates that night, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So I felt like it automatically gave me a bit of a front foot in when I become the artist, because I already had all that mutual respect for everybody else that goes into planning the show that I'm going to go and play. So yeah, I was with Sam for like, I think 4 or 5 years, just touring everywhere. And she's obviously a superstar now. So we had so much fun. Like I probably don't remember half of it because it was just so hectic and wild, but like the best years of my life. And she'll be a friend forever, Sam. We don't get to see much of each other now because obviously we're both touring so hard, but I'll cherish those 4 years that I had learning, and she just helped me so much and really sort of give me a thick skin as to the bad and the good sides of the industry, because there is a dark and a light side of the industry. So yeah, I started DJing towards the end of me being a tour manager, did a course at Sub-Bass DJ Academy, which is very similar to Point Blank, a 12-week course that basically just taught me the fundamentals of DJing. They don't teach you like your what's the word, like your source as such. They just teach you the basics of beat matching, like a cappella mixing and stuff like that, and the actual like logistics behind mixing, like mixing in key, and because there is a bit of a technical side to DJing as well as just knowing how to beat match. And then
Sean doesn't even know how to mix. Full stop.
Do you know what though? You can hear from some people that don't know about phrasing and beats and bars and stuff. You can hear it if you've been trained in it.
Yeah.
So
maybe you can teach Sean next time.
I'll give you a lesson.
Sorry. Carry on.
My first DJ set was at Ministry of Sound, so I didn't even get to go and play I didn't go and play a little bar or anything. I got thrown straight into Ministry of Sound because of this college, and I'll never forget just pulling the fader up and that sound system just literally smacking me in the face, and I was like,
yes,
shit, right, it's sink or swim now. Like, you've got to do this. So, and now I feel like I'm just here. Like, I got signed to Defected in, I think, 2016. So I was on their roster for maybe 5 years. I left last year to just focus on doing more solo stuff. But yeah, I've had a blast. I'm not nowhere near where I want to be yet, but it's so much fun. 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. We've crossed paths over the years because I was at Defected from like 20.
We was there at the same time.
I think 2017 when I signed that EP to Defected. I wasn't signed to Defected.
The FTD you did, didn't you? Yeah, banging one.
And then obviously we had then when Defected went to Eden for the first year, so we saw each other all the time.
Did you do Croatia as well? I think you did one.
The first one and the second one. I did two or three shows in the first one.
So much
one
fun, that festival.
Oh, it's great. Well,
wow.
it's that venue that in Tisno.
Yeah.
What's it
Mental.
called?
It's the Garden Resort.
The Garden Resort in Tisno. Have you ever
nuts.
been to that? They have like Defected do it there. Love International.
It's so much better than where they do like Hideout, and that it's just amazing. Oh, yeah, it's so good.
And it's all in one place. You've got like
lush.
There's like a beach. It's kind of a pebble beach, and you've got a beach stage. Then you've got like obviously Barbarella's.
Barbarella's is probably my favourite club on the planet.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Wow.
But yeah, Defected was obviously a massive part of my life, and that's kind of where me and Jess sparked our friendship, because I saw, and I'll give her a due. She was always, no matter whether she was playing or not playing, she was there.
Love you.
Very similar to what we were talking about Alicia the other day.
Yeah,
she's
present.
obviously now. Yeah, Jess was
Yeah.
she was grafting all the time. She was at the shows, being present, speaking to the promoters, just being there and being a face. And that's,
I've not even paid him to say that, guys, as well.
No. I'll always big people up who put the fucking graft in.
Yeah.
Jess is
You
one of those
have to,
people.
man,
You
because
have
there's
to.
somebody else behind you ready to take your spot if you're not on it.
Immediately,
Literally.
months. There's
Literally. Especially for you guys, because there's more of you.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah. Well, I can't even beat much. So,
You're gay.
I shouldn't have brought it up, should I? But to be fair, you brought it up the first time, and you said, "I'll tell you now that this, Jess." So I can't remember what episode it was, but Sean was like, "Did you know the 8.8 rule?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." Every fucking knows. Yeah, and he was like, "Well, when did you find out?"
Some people don't know that.
No, but
some people genuinely don't know
mental.
that.
That's how I actually like learned. I learned that because some guy. This is when I very first started DJing. He see that I was, I wanted to start DJing, and he was almost trying to boast to me about, oh, you don't even know the 0.8 rule. And at the time I didn't, because I just started DJing. I was like, what's this 0.8 rule? And I started doing it. I was like, oh, wow, now I can fucking mix. So it sort of backfired on him. But what a journey it's been so far.
Yeah, happy.
10 years, man.
And now I tackle in production, which has been doing production for maybe like 4 years since lockdown, basically. I was it forced my hand. I never really wanted to produce at all because I love DJing and I love the art of DJing. But it gets to a point where you kind of want to hear your own records being sung back to you as opposed to other people.
Well, I was listening to one of your tracks on the way through here.
Real Love.
Fucking Real Love.
Yeah.
What a fucking
I
tune
can't
that
believe
is.
we've done it. Yeah.
Applause for that. Fucking real. Yeah, no, that's an absolute banger. And you've got, is it Kaylee as a collab on there?
We've got Kelly Lee is the vocalist.
Yeah.
And we've got Shapeshifters in the writing credits for Lola's theme.
How did that come about?
So me and Kelly Lee have wanted to do something together for ages. Obviously, she's a powerhouse, Grammy nominated, had like 4 UK top 10s. So we'd wanted to work together for ages. We'd done studio session after studio session and just nothing was hitting. I knew what we could do together would be fucking magic because she is as great as she is, but nothing was hitting. So we sort of let it simmer for a minute, and then she sent me over, maybe about 18 months ago, she sent me over the idea of the big Real Love top line with the Shapeshifter sample underneath it. Immediately I was like, oh, I don't know. just because I didn't want to touch a sample, let alone something that was so close to where I was. I was defected at the time, and I thought, I don't know how it's because when you touch samples of that caliber, it's going to go good or it's going to go bad, whereas as in the reception. And I thought, I don't know whether to do this or not, but I obviously was really tight with shapes. So I sent it over to him and I just said, what's your thoughts on this? And he basically just said, do it, go for it.
Really?
And he's never, I don't think he's ever green lighted anybody to do it in 20 years of the record. So it
really pops and it works really well. You hear like not covers, but you hear like edits or whatever.
For sure.
And it sometimes you can see what they're trying to do, but it just doesn't quite hit the spot, and that fucking track absolutely popped.
Well, we did it. We finished it, and it was due to come out a year ago now, this time last year. It was all like ingested into the Spotify, blah, 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 ready to go. 2 weeks' time, bang, A-Lock and James Arthur used the sample. And they've covered Lola's theme and done it, put a top line on it, and it's everywhere. And I was like, I literally rang my A&R. I was like, we can't do this now. Like, we've just wasted a year building this track, and there's no way we can do it with the same sample within 2 weeks of coming out. And I'm not going up against A-Lock, who's got 200 million followers on his socials. So we sat on the idea, and we to be honest, all of us as a team were absolutely devastated because we'd put so much into it, and it was going to be such an organic story having Shapes actually with us on it, like. In the writing credits, and it's his record. So like we did it, the story was there that me and Shapes have known each other for so long. So we weren't going to put it out. And then literally 2 months ago, my A&R was like, we were looking through my records of what to finish the year with, and I didn't really want anything that I had ready in the locker for next year because they're quite different sounding to what I've been putting out this year. So my A&R, Anton, was just like, fuck it, let's just do it. So we put it through, and it's been an amazing response already. It's literally streaming like 10K, 1,000 times a day. It's on all the stations.
And I've seen the stations as well. That's so important as well.
Yeah, for sure. We've been like all of the big ones have backed it. I think we've got 20 DSP streaming playlists on the big editorial ones, and we've got the Apple cover next week. So the worldwide Dance XL cover will be me and Kelly.
Amazing.
And how long have you been playing out for then? How long have you had that track finished?
I've been teasing it for a good 6 months. I've been teasing more because there's a dub mix of it as well, which is because I was playing out the original and it wasn't really slotting into where I was playing at the time because I've gone a little bit harder with my sound as to maybe a year ago. So we made a dub mix, and that's working so well, so well. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I was so nervous, and it's been absolutely fine. There's genuinely not been one dickhead comment.
And in terms of the production, obviously that's one track that's recently come out we're talking about now. But in terms of the production, I know you just mentioned that you were kind of on the fence a little while in terms of going into production and not just focusing on the DJ art.
Yeah, it was lockdown that forced my hand because I didn't have a creative outlet, and I thought there was genuinely a point, I'm sure you guys understand, why we were like, shit, our club's actually going to open again. And it's not going to be this ridiculous sit down 6 rule of like whatever it was, that madness. So I started production. I have a co-producer as well called Dirty Secrets. Richie's taught me everything I know about production, and we work so well together. I'm very open about the fact that I use engineers and stuff because I think you should be. Yeah, I think there's you'd be surprised the amount of people that use engineers that are.
You'd be surprised at some of the big artists who use Ghost.
That use Ghost, and there is a difference between a Ghost and an engineer. There is a mad difference. So we started. I did my first track called Love We Had on Good Company. That came out and went straight to #1. So I was like, I'm on to something here. So I signed to Stress Records, did Back and Forth with Lily Mackenzie. That one did really well. And then the next one was Temptation, which is my big one. Like, we're about to get a silver disc for it. So it's still streaming 500,000 times a week, 18 months after release.
Unreal, man. I'm so
wild.
Proud. That's unreal.
Wild.
I could come from someone who was forced.
I didn't want to produce.
Didn't want to produce.
Didn't want to do it.
Now getting silver records.
I think I've got 65 million streams on Spotify now.
Oh, that'll do.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Just 65.
Wild. I didn't expect it, which is so nice. We didn't go into the studio with Temptation thinking we're going to write a hit today. It just happened.
Well, that's always
the way.
Yeah, I mentioned this before. Two of my tracks that did the best. The first one I didn't even want to put out was just a remix. I sent it to the guy and I went, "Please don't put this out." And 2 weeks later, Marco Carolla's playing Amnesia. And then the other one, I didn't even think it was a B-side. Mama was a B-side,
yes,
right? And it just went crazy. Everyone's playing it. Fisher's all these videos of Fisher playing it out and all these other artists. When you I was talking
it's
to you.
more organic, isn't it, that way?
Yeah. We were talking about this project, the Afters Cast, as a project, in terms of forcing it on people and forcing it as as in you want the outcome to be X, Y, and Z. That's never going to work. It has to be organic. It has to come from love, and it has to come from passion. And when you go in, I used to go in the studio and go, I'm going to make a track that Jamie Jones is going to sign on Hot Creations, and that track's going to go to #1, and I'm going to be fucking massive, and it never fucking worked.
Of course.
And when I put tracks out that I was just like really relaxed in the studio and had fun with it, they did the best, and fucking obviously why.
That's what happened with my God Made Me Funky remix. So I remixed God Made Me Funky, which was literally just an edit for my set. Because that's one thing I love is having a locker full of edits, because nobody has them.
Yeah, of course.
So I made the God Made Me Funky one. It was literally just a bit of fun. I WhatsApped it to BB and just said, hey, have this. It was a little bit more underground than I'd ever done anything. So I kind of just took a chance and sent it to BB. BB then plays it at Solid Grooves, DC10, everywhere. Corolla's now playing it, which ended up getting it signed to Defected under Sam's label Divine Sounds, sample cleared. The owner of it, Mike Dunn, supports it, and it's gone insane. It's blown up on TikTok. Everyone's playing it. Seth Troxler, Joseph Capriati, all the underground legends that I didn't associate my sound with, and now. So I feel like I've got my commercial lot now, and then I can still dip my toe into underground and the cool side.
Perfect.
So, but it was an edit. It was not ever intended for release ever.
That's perfect testament to the fact that you don't need to go in with like a goal. You don't need to have
just go in and make music.
Yeah.
Well,
Even if it isn't edit, it doesn't fucking matter.
I owe
Have
that one
fun.
to BB, literally. Michael BB, thank you for playing that, because it's got it where it is, literally. If he hadn't have spun that, nobody would have given a shit about it.
It's a time and a place thing, isn't it? Like that track BB might not even pick that track up. And then that it doesn't get played out. Then it doesn't get it on a video. And then Corolla's team doesn't say it. And then it's just like this.
Spirals, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's funny because the videos that are of Corolla playing it, he doesn't normally dance, but this track, he's got such a groovy bass line. He's literally like bopping around. And so many people have said to me that are like Corolla diehard fans, they say, no one can make him dance. And he's dancing, he's got a little grin on his face. And I'm like, yes!
Just not,
tick, job done.
sick. You made Corolla dance.
I made Corolla dance, come on.
So what's next then for you in terms of your production?
I've got a remix coming out before the end of the year on Sony that I've literally just finished today, that I cannot name just yet. And then I've got a remix again I cannot name coming out in January on Armada, which is massive. It's a old 80s, 70s record that they've just acquired the publishing and stuff to it. So
amazing.
I want to tell you, but I'll
don't.
I'll tell you after because I'm
after.
excited about it. And then I have a track with Jem Cook, which will be early next year, and then Annabelle England will follow that. So yeah.
Well, I've got a question for you on the production side, but it isn't to do with releases. Do you enjoy making music?
I actually enjoy it now more than DJing.
You do,
which I never thought I would ever say.
Explain that a little bit.
Because for me, I'm a vocal house producer, so the bit that really takes my passion and my skills is finding the vocalist and working out what the hell we're writing about and what the lyrics and stuff and the meaning behind it. Because I've never put out a record that just is a top line that's going to go to the top 10, if that makes sense. Because they are quite easy to find, whereas the ones that actually make you feel something, they're the ones that I want, if that makes sense. Absolutely. Like I want somebody on the dance floor to listen to the lyrics and go, oh shit, I've actually felt that. So like we did Colorblind, and it's all written about Jade and how Jade's my partner, my fiance, and it was when I was going through like a really dark time of like trying to get through sobriety and stuff. She made me feel like I wasn't colorblind anymore, and life wasn't black and white. It was actually full of colourful and happy. And she was sat in the studio when we were writing it, and it's so special that like a vocal house just is what makes me love production so much, because you can just put so much meaning into it, and it like makes my heart happy.
Oh, what a fucking answer that was.
Yeah.
I was expecting I enjoy it.
Yes. Wow.
I think I've got goosebumps listening to that. That was really nice to hear. And it's nice to hear that.
It's a therapy session, isn't it, writing music?
Well, no, I'm going to say the opposite, because I fucking hate music.
Do you not?
No, I don't make music anymore. I very rarely listen to music. So
I wouldn't get through a day without listening.
I know you don't
music.
listen to music. That just
I can't even have silence in the house. The radio's on.
Yeah.
So the first time I listened to music was in a long time was when I went out on Saturday, which we've spoke about off the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's actually the time. Saturday was a weird day for me, because I went to drum sheds with no intentions of kind of having a big one. got there and was like, I'm going to let my hair down. Bearing in mind, I've been very well behaved all year in terms of partying and drinking and stuff. And that was the first time I listened to music. Got there and I was like really feeling the tunes. I was like, this is sick, right? But then from that came the old habitual Jackie trigger.
Yeah.
I was in the booth with Waff, and obviously his rider was there, so I just swigged some tequila, and that from there.
Tequila is where it all begins.
And that was always on my rider, and from there it was just a bit of a downward spiral. So as much as I really like listening to music that day, and I had a great day.
Maybe it has become a little bit of a trigger.
It's a huge trigger for me, and I mean, maybe I associate music or listening to music with that old life I used to lead, which has a lot of great memories, which you're involved in a lot of them, but also a lot of bad ones. And that was a difficult day for me. So
we actually played together for your last set, 338.
We did.
You handed over to me, literally.
I did.
What did you close with?
Share Believe.
That was it. It was Share Believe. Yeah, I remember on the 338 terrace.
It was the breakdown, and I was cuddling everyone in the booth, and I went, Jess, don't fucking turn this off.
Yeah, no, I remember.
I was playing Share, and I went, Jess, let's
and then
Share
I looked
drop.
at the BPM and I was like, how the fuck do I mix into that?
It was like
we're like 156 or something. I was like, oh Lord, I'm basically mixing to drum and bass.
The stop situation.
So that was the last show I had in London was at Studio 338 until Dennis Menendez messaged me the day after when he saw that video and went, just so you played your last show in London, but you fancy doing the last show next week at Ministry. So it was actually Ministry, right. But that was that was a sick part.
That was bad work.
But yeah, I think coming back to the music and listening to music just in the day, I know you guys probably find it quite foreign that you guys can't understand that, but no. I think maybe it's a connection that I have with old habits which I don't want to associate myself with. And yeah, it just brought them all back on Saturday. And as much as I love seeing everyone. I saw so many lovely faces, like loads of people. You can imagine how many people were at Drumsheds for Paradise.
I think everybody was there.
Everyone was there, and and you. But I had Zach was there.
I know. Yeah, I spoke to him. Yeah,
and I had a great time. But I think I could have probably bailed. What I could have done is maybe took myself out of that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to the music thing, I think it's maybe just an association, negative association, which maybe I just need to work on.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Like on the sober thing, today is 100 days for me today.
Well done.
Last relapse.
Well
But very similar things is a trigger.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to move into now for yourself in terms of being sober and not drinking at gigs. Do you find there's like a change on how you feel? In terms of like how you connect with people?
I really mix better, that's for sure, when there's no alcohol. I know you don't think you do when you're drunk.
You do.
You think, it's smashing it, but you're not. You've played the same record twice, you know? You don't know. Like God Pioneer introduced that little green thing that says that track's been played now because you wouldn't have a fucking clue.
Oh, right. I
if it highlights now if you played it.
Oh, wow.
I don't have to turn around to my partner and go, have I played that one? I don't have. There's alcohol sometimes at my shows if I've got like a big group of friends or family come in, but if it's just me on my own or my partner, it's not there, and it's easier when it's not in your face. For example, like I said to you guys off camera, when you come into the DJ world, you get a hospitality rider. Why does that automatically have to be a shitload of booze? Like, why is it a bottle of champagne and a bottle of vodka? Why is it not fruit, something healthy, like a snack, a phone charger? Because these are all things that you do actually need when you're on the way to a gig, you know?
I think that's
Wi-Fi.
I
know, why have we never thought about that?
Access to Wi-Fi, you know, because you need all of these things. But yeah, I think I made a decision maybe I've been doing it for probably this whole year. It got pretty bad for me towards, I think it was either last summer or the summer before, when I was on Capital Dance. I was presenting on Capital Dance as well. I took on my first full-time Ibiza residency, so I was doing every Friday at Ibiza Rocks. I basically just took on a little bit more than I can chew, and I've got no problem in saying that. And if I can't put 100% into something, I won't do it.
Yeah.
So I was doing shows obviously all summer during the week. Then I was in Ibiza on Friday, flying back after the show. So I wasn't really getting a lot of sleep. The Saturday I'd be somewhere else in the UK. Sunday I'd then be presenting on Capital Dance. If you're going on radio, you need to be 100% on it and sound like you're in the happiest, best place. And it got to a point where I know that I was struggling and I didn't want to do it if I couldn't be 100%.
The radio, do you mean?
The radio, and that was all just because I was drinking a lot at all my shows, and it was just like it was the best summer ever, and it was like I was at the peak, so I knew something had to give, and it was gonna be that. Yeah, and there was just a few situations where I kind of not let myself down, but yeah, I knew that it would have been a bit different if I hadn't been drinking as such. So yeah, I made the decision. Like, I've done rehab a few times. I've done rehab 3 times in that year, I think, and it was the best thing I could have ever done, because you just literally take yourself away, and you don't even have a phone. Like, you don't have access to anyone. And even if I always recommend rehab, even for people that don't have problems with like drink or drugs, for example. This industry is so tough, like on every part of your body, physical and mental health. If you can afford to go and take yourself away, even just for 2 weeks, and switch off, because life is sometimes really tough. So yeah, that taught me it taught me my triggers. It taught me why I might drink, or to like guard a place of me, if that makes sense. And it did become a bit of a crutch, I won't lie. Just to like, you think when you're nervous for a big show, for example, I'll just have a quick drink and that will take the edge off. But it actually doesn't. Sometimes it encourages it. And now I'm doing it sober. I'll be mixing, and I'll turn around and say to my partner, and I'll go, that was a really good mix. Like, I'll be really proud of it, because I'm like, I know I wouldn't be in that creative if I was drunk, because I wouldn't be thinking about it. I wouldn't be thinking 3 mixes ahead, if that makes sense. So it's the best decision I've ever made, and don't get me wrong, it's still a battle every single show. It's something that you consistently have to be working on. You cannot let your guard down once on it, because you let your guard down once, and then you're going to feel how you feel after you've just done drum sheds, when you shouldn't feel bad, because you've just done a full year sober nearly.
Yeah, but I think it's brave that you've just come and said that openly, because especially about the rehab. This is the side of the industry that the punters in the crowd looking up to the DJ on this on this pedestal. Sorry. They would never associate someone doing so well with something of that nature. And it's important that people do know that this fucking happens, and it's real. And there's people like Jess and many other people, like me included. I was so many who it grabs hold and it doesn't let go. So I'm really, hats off for you to
I mean, I think you have to be honest about it, because you've got to prepare the next generation. You can't just keep there's a handful of DJs that really champion online being messy, and I just don't think that's right at all. What is that setting an example for the next generation? Like,
these kids look up to these artists
so
much. I was one of them. You look up to them like they're not even human, some of them.
No.
You know? Did it ever get to a point where you took that home as opposed to just being in the booth and at the club?
Yeah, for sure. Especially during lockdown. What else did we have to do? And I was so sad. I was just sort of blocking it out with just like, I might have lost my job here. Like, I wasn't working, so I don't know how I was even affording to drink, But like, yeah, it did get home. Now I just don't have, and there was a lot of times where I was doing brand deals with alcohol brands. So consistently every sort of 3 or 4 weeks, I was getting crates of stuff delivered to my house, like bottles of vodka. I was working with Moe at the time, so I was getting crates of champagne
that
delivered.
won't help.
Copperberg, they were sending crates of cider. So my home looked like a bar at one point. So if it's there and I was bored, why wouldn't I have 2 ciders after dinner? What's the point in that? I'm just sat drinking at home. Like, well, that's not normal. And my parents are both alcoholics, so I've been around it my whole life. And it was one thing that I always said to myself I would never, ever do. And there I was doing it. So that's what gave me a bit of the kick up the arse to sort the shit out.
So same with my mum's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And that was exactly the same.
It's almost conditioned, isn't it, to make you feel like, oh, if you're happy, you'll drink. If you're sad, you'll drink. If it's a birthday, we'll drink. Funeral, drink.
Excuse.
Why is drink always there? It doesn't need to be there.
I think, again, it just becomes habitual, right? Once you've done it once or twice or 3 times, then it just becomes that is what we do. Like it's like the people who support football teams. If we win, we're going to get pissed, but if we lose, we're going to get even more pissed.
Literally.
It's like, it doesn't matter either way, So, yeah, I think the industry that you're in, that we were in, it's built around nightlife.
Yeah.
How the fuck are you supposed to distance yourself unless you like for me, I had to hit a rock bottom moment where
100%.
And I'm assuming most people who do, for example, go to rehab or make that change, they hit a point where they go, I can't do this anymore.
No.
And was it very similar?
Yeah,
to you?
I had a rock bottom moment where I couldn't even play at one point at one show, and I thought, I literally was like, what is this? Like, you've worked so hard and you're literally just about to throw it all down the drain. So that was like when it was time to go to rehab.
Well, you've done it, mate, and I'm fucking
really
proud of you.
I'm not like, it's not, I've only started recently speaking about it now, but it was just because at the time you kind of feel a little bit ashamed about it, but it's not. it's not. It's actually so brave
It's
to go
quite
and
the
sit
opposite.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the opposite,
so
Jess.
brave,
Yeah.
literally, to go and sit there and talk about your feelings and your own issues and own them. That you, it's not that. In fact, Tony says to me, "Drink and drugs aren't the problem. You're the issue. They're not the issue. It's you. You're the problem." So to own that is actually quite brave and empowering.
Absolutely, mate.
And I think it's important as well, because then if people know that, you know, that is sort of an option, then maybe people don't have to hit that rock bottom before they take change.
100%.
I don't want anyone listening to this to hit that rock bottom, but if it comes to it, then obviously
there is help there. You've just got to put your hand up and
Well,
ask for
fitness.
Well, there's fitness. All right. Yeah, a little plug in there.
So just you're talking about mental health. You're an ambassador for Drop the Ego.
I am. That's the one, and it's a mental health within the music industry one.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Josh Butler is involved in it as well. And it's more,
Josh.
it's literally, I think it's called Drop the Ego because it's more to do with like letting down the guard and showing your real self. And before I was the ambassador for that one, I was an ambassador for a kids one as well called Hidden Strength, which was an app purely for kids in school that were going through anything tough, from like dealing with like bullying, self-harm, eating disorders. Because I've got ADHD, borderline personality disorder, and I've got bulimia as well. So I'm a whole range of information if people want to talk about it. So I was working with the kids on that, and I was doing podcasts on there where I was bringing in celebrities from different ranges of the entertainment industry, and just sort of to prepare these kids for this job. If they wanted to come into entertainment, they need to know that there is a light and a dark side. And I really enjoyed it so much, and it helps me heal as well, helping other people heal. And I think it's just really important to talk about it, because a lot of people, you don't know they're suffering with things like that in silence.
Absolutely.
And mental health is mad. It's in the industry, because it depletes. If you're not sleeping right, that alone smashes me more than any hangover ever has in my life. If I don't have sleep for two or three nights properly. So it just needs to be spoke about more.
I think people definitely started to speak about it more post lockdown, because I think a lot of people who didn't realize they had problems found out it was a fucking problem when they're locked in the house. They can't socialize. They're just getting fucked up in the house all
and
the
there's
time.
been a mad amount of suicides.
Yeah.
Mad amount. And people that's like died with other issues as well, you know, like drugs and stuff. It's just, when that happens around you to people that are friends and close friends or friends of friends, it's a little bit of a like, is it getting one step closer to me? You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I feel like as we get older, we get more. I don't know what the word is, but we're more aware of it, because a few more people have died that you know through someone else. Someone close to you dies, like we mentioned on the last podcast.
Well,
who we all
Jamie
know.
Roy, for example.
Exactly. When that happened, that was
shockwave
for everyone in the industry. And it really woke a lot of people up. But I think it's great what you're doing, mate.
Thanks, dude.
What age group are you guys working with then? Is it like you said, was it kids or?
So the one I did, Hidden Strength, that was basically ages 12 to 21, and it was an app on your phone that only kids in schools and unis and colleges could have access to, and there was 24 hours a day access to counsellors and therapists on there.
That's amazing.
So at any point, and to sign up to it, they had to have parents like logged into it as well. So it was literally just a safe space for kids to have a positive feed, because an Instagram feed now is not positive. It's full of fakeness, and it's full of like conditioning you to tell you that your life is not good enough. Whereas this was like a bit of a safe space. So I really enjoyed that, and I only did it for I think I did it for 2 years, and then I moved on to more of the music industry stuff. But I really enjoy it. It's so much fun, and it's such a good place to put your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
so
good.
What do you do to look after your mental and physical health?
I actually just spend a lot of time with my friends and family.
Love that.
Yeah, I've just recently done 5 stone in weight, so I'm looking more at like health and stuff.
Yeah, that's fucking incredible.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even know I had that to lose, and now I'm like a quarter of the person I was.
You look fucking amazing, mate. You look class.
Ditto,
Really,
hon. Look
really
at your
proud of
6-pack, bro.
Look at his 6-pack. We're having a 6-pack on. No, that's amazing.
I love spending time with my friends and family, and if anything, they keep me so humble and my feet on the ground. They wouldn't let me lose my head, you know, as some people can do in this industry, and they are where my happiness lies. I don't really genuinely do much of my time. When I've got downtime, I'm in my flat with my partner and my cat, and I'm happy.
Nice.
I am at peace with that.
That's now because you got to a certain level. I've seen you rise through the ranks. You've got to this level now where you've just been on an American tour. You've got a minute downtime, and you're back to Australia.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle has become so busy that you need to now structure where your time is best spent.
Literally.
So if your time is best spent for your mental health with family and friends, that's where you're going to spend your time.
Oh,
and I think that's beautiful.
And do you know what? When you're touring as much as I am at the minute, you miss your family so much. Like, for example, when I was in America, I did America for 4 weeks, and although it was the best experience I've ever had in my life and my career, I missed my nan's birthday and my nephew's first birthday. So that was like, it really hurt my heart. But it was like, what can you do? I'm away living my dream. So you have to appreciate those moments. And that's actually something that Sam Devine always told me, that she was really struggling to manage. You always just have to say yes to all the work, especially after lockdown when it was taken away from us. You didn't want to say no to anything. But yes to all this work means there's no time for your friends and family. So you have to find that balance, and finding that was pretty tricky for me, but now I've got the balance good.
Well, that's actually transferable to your personal life. I've mentioned this to you before, before I always say yes to everything, whether it was a social event or going out for drinks on a Wednesday and ended up being back at someone's house, or just any event I get offered attendance to, I just go, yeah, sweet, every time.
Same.
Now, my default answer is no to everything.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 questions I've got to ask myself. And if I can answer yes to all 3 of them, I can change my answer to a yes. So usually it's only if it's someone who's really close to my heart, who's having like a 40th birthday or a stag do or something really special, I'll fucking say yes. But most of the time I just say no. And obviously as an artist, that's a bit different because that's your livelihood.
What can you gain from this? Like, are you going to gain from it?
Yeah. What's
is it just your face there?
Exactly, yeah. So now my default answer is no, but it's a little bit different when you're an artist and you've got your agent going, right, we've got you this show, and your manager's wanting obviously paying. You've got you're feeding so many mouths as well, so it's a completely different story when you're an artist, isn't it?
It is. Well, I actually suffer with something really bad called FOMO.
Don't we all?
It's a real thing. It's a real condition. But now I manage it better. Like now, for example, there was like a really big defected event last week where they're doing something with a charity. Everybody from the industry was there, and I slept through it, and I felt good about that, because in the morning I woke up fine, and I would have just gone and been tired, and then I had a busy weekend. So now it's taken a minute to get to this point to say no, but I'm happy for it, literally.
We were talking about this as well. That ability to say no is it's discipline, right? And discipline, I like to look at it like a muscle.
Yeah, for sure.
So the more you practice that no,
it's better. Yeah,
it gets stronger and stronger every time.
It even rolls over into like shows and turning down shows. Like my new manager, that was the first thing when he came on board. He said to me, "You need to learn the power of no, because if you're saying yes to all these shows, certain bigger brands or other people are not going to want to book you because you're playing everywhere."
Yeah.
So the second you start saying no, then the demand creates. And that was one thing that I really had to learn. And now I understand when he says no, you can't do 10 shows in London a year. It's 2.
Yeah, because you all you see when you first started, especially when I first started, my agent would just send me through this list or through the manager of all these places that want to book you. And you want to say yes to everything, but you can't do that.
No.
You're just going to fuck
it's
yourself.
So sad.
It is
why can't I play London 10 times a year? It's my hometown. My manager's like, no.
I can go to the show on
literally.
the tube.
And that's where I'm from, literally. And they're like, no, you're going to Skegness, bro. All right.
No offence to Skegness, by the way. Anyone who's listening from Skegness.
It's a 7-hour round trip.
Yeah. It's just far, right? It's far as fuck. Oh, mate.
So what would be your advice? Like, obviously, after this 10-year journey has got to where you are now, what would be your advice for any up-and-coming DJs, especially when we're talking about physical and mental health?
I just think get a job that's not straight away the artist would be my best bit of advice, just because then you have more of like a prepared like look at the industry.
Yeah.
Coming in as a tour manager, I saw firsthand all the struggles Sam went through, and she's quite open about her struggles as well, like with like drink and stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of already had an insight that was potentially going to become a problem if I didn't get a handle on it. So yeah, I think just coming in, and even if it's just like interning at DJ Mag or Mix Mag or something like that, just getting an understanding of everything else before you become the main star is so key. And I would not have changed my entry to the industry for like love or money.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Well, I think we'll get on to the juicy question I love to ask.
Go on.
Well, you know the name of the podcast, Jess?
Yeah.
It's The Afters.
Yeah.
So we want to know, what's your craziest story from the afters? Any afters ever over the last 10, 11, whatever years you've been after partying? Give us a juicy one.
I'll pick one from Hertford. I was playing in Hertford at a venue called the Dog and Whistle. It's a great venue. It's like a pub that's got a massive pub garden that they turn into a rave in the summer. Yeah, it's wicked,
sick.
isn't it? But in the Dog and Whistle are the hotels as well. So you stay there, right?
Yeah,
so you stay literally in the venue.
It's too handy.
Yeah, it's perfect, really. Just literally perfect. You need a 5-minute break, you're upstairs.
Yeah.
So we was obviously having an after party in the rooms afterwards, after the hours. And you know, like it's like a revolving door, isn't it? And afters, you don't know who's going to come in, who's going to duck out. And I remember being sat on the bed. I was sat with my partner Jade, and there was somebody that looked really, really fucking familiar. And I said to Jade, I was like, I think that's Gareth Gates. And then Gareth Gates just strolled into our after party and was there. And I was like, mate, that's fucking Gareth Gates.
Was it actually him?
He's now one of my very good friends because of this after party.
Honestly?
And I remember going up to, and we were having him singing all of his Pop Idol hits. Like,
At the afters.
and now he's one of my really good friends. Like, and I remember going up to Jade and I was like, that is Gareth Gates. And she was like, no, it's not. We were both so mashed up. We couldn't work it out if it was. So I literally had to go up and tap him on the shoulder and say, are you Gareth Gates? And he was just like, yeah, in his really high-pitched voice.
How was he there?
Mad.
Who invited Gareth
At
Gates?
the time, he was going out with one of my friends called Loeka, who is also signed to Defected. So he just bowled in the afters, and I was just like,
Oh, it would have been mint if he just got a taxi there himself and just walked in. Just knocking on all the doors.
He's actually one of the soundest guys you'll ever meet. Like, literally hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Oh,
yeah, that's a funny story.
That'll fucking do. Well, Jess, I just want to say thank you so much for showing some.
Thanks for having me.
For coming down, but also just for showing some vulnerability today in terms of your struggles and all the true shit that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons we started this podcast, and me and Sean have spoke openly about our issues.
Well, I don't need to pay my therapist now for this week. You guys have been my therapist.
we take card.
Yeah, we do.
Invoice me after.
No, but thank you so much for coming down.
Anytime.
Thank you so much. See ya.
Thanks for having me.
And,
just anything you want to plug, anything for the future?
Yeah, any plugs?
Just that my new track, Real Love, is out. It's got the Shapeshifters Lola's theme sample in it, and it's with Kelly Lee, and you can get it on all streaming services and platforms.
Boom.
Woo!
Oh, I just got the camera. Right, well, thanks, Jess.
You're
amazing.
welcome. Thanks, guys.
Great to see you.
Does anybody know where the afters is?